Hello, everyone. Welcome to one more Let's Talk About It. Thank you very much for your participation, whether you are here with us or watching it later. Today, we are talking about parapsychic self experience, which involves perceptions beyond our five physical senses. But before and foremost, it's important to mention the principle of disbelief. Don't believe in anything, not even what we say here in our program. Experiment, have your own experiences. To talk about parapsychic self-experience today, let me introduce you to our team. Karina, Eliasha.
Hello, everyone. Good morning in Brazil. Good afternoon in Portugal. It's very nice to be here. Thanks for having me, Mario. It's a pleasure.
Very good. And we have a very special guest today from Recife, Portugal, Juliana Branco.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having him here. It's a pleasure, and I think we'll have a really nice discussion.
Very good. We would have also Daniel Bertolotti today, but unfortunately, he's still recovering from COVID and won't be able to be with us. We wish you, Daniel, the best wishes for a soon recovery, right? Our debate is based on conscientiology, right? For the newcomers, those ones who are watching us for the first time, conscientiology is a new science. Conscientiology is a new science that studies the consciousness as a whole. Consciousness is me, is you, is everyone in human life. Our studies of the consciousness as a whole, right, extraphysically, are based on the consciential paradigm, which is focused on some pillars, especially seven pillars, right? Bioenergies, multidimensionality, pluriexistentiality, self-research, cosmoethics, universalism, and holosoma. And conscientiology has more than 20 conscientiocentric institutions, each of them specialized in one specific subject of research. Our institution is ACIPI, right? ACIPI is a specialized in the study, research, development, and the practical use of parapsychism, aiming at the mature use of self-parapsychism as an indispensable attribute for a consciential evolution. A CIP English project is a project inside a CP, right? And we aim the internationalization of conscientiology. But let's get started with our today's topic, parapsychic self-experience. Karina and Juliana. So I would begin this conversation today by defining exactly what is it to be parapsychic.
Okay.
Good question.
Well, nice question. Well, but I would say to be parapsychic is to be able to interpret information that it's not based on our own interphysical reality. So we have, for instance, we have a vision, we have audition that we are able to decipher some information that is on the interphysical world. And I would say parapsychism is also a sense to be able to interpret and to interact the extra physical world, the world that it's outside this interphysical world that we live in as well.
Yeah, I would complement it's the ability to interact with the other dimensions. There's a very good movie, The Sixth Sense. It explains very well these abilities, and some people call parapsychism this ability that is the sixth sense, other than the five regular ones that we have in the intraphysical dimension. So it's this ability to communicate better with other people, other environments, energies from apart this intraphysical dimension.
Okay, it's important to say, people, that if you've got any questions to ask, please use the comment section and we'll be answering them as soon as your question comes, right? Okay, I would just go for a kind of approach which is because when we talk about parapsychism, right, we usually connect this idea with phenomena, right? Parapsychic phenomena as clairaudience, clairvoyance, out-of-body experiences, and abilities, right? Parapsychic abilities. But being parapsychic, right? involves our connection with the extra-physical dimension, right? Which is invariable for everyone. Every day we are getting our connections, right? And how can people notice these interactions, right? Notice that they are parapsychic and we use our parapsychism, whether we are aware of it or not. It's indifferent if you are or not aware of it, but we every day we use our parapsychism. Let's talk a bit about this everyday parapsychism. Karina has a course which is energies from environment. It's one very good example of how to get connected with our parapsychism while interacting with other people and places, right?
Yes, I would say parapsychism is a very important tool. It's an ability that we should develop in order to make our lives, I would say, easier, and also to understand better the people that surround us, to improve our decision in a more evolutionary way. So we have more information. So it's like we have two eyes and we are seeing with both eyes. Some people are blindsided. They can they can't see anything, and some people only can see from with one eye. I would say parapsychism is like the third eye. We have a better vision of things, but not only through clairvoyance, but also we can read the environments better. We can see if someone is lying to us, if the energy, what the person is saying is not exactly matching the quality of the energy that she's also sending. And we can enter a room and see if it's a very good pattern or not, how we feel and interact with different places. And if this decision, for example, to change jobs is an evolutionary decision, I'm going to help more people, it's good for me, it's good for other people, to change your home address, to move from one city to another, from one country to another. So it's very good to know how to interpret the signs. And sometimes it's very difficult. Sometimes we feel the energy, but we are not sure what is this energy. It's a good pattern, but it's a good pattern in the way, should I take this decision or not? Is someone trying to warn me, don't go this way, or someone trying to warn it's the right path, or someone just giving me more energy so I'm not more lucid and I can make a better decision? Or is someone trying to fool me? Oh, let's send this kind of pattern so I will fool her. She will maybe she will think I'm a helper and I'm not. We should practice, and sometimes we will make wrong readings and we will be mistaken. Sometimes we will get them right. So that's the way to learn and develop. If we don't practice, it's like impossible to develop this ability. And this is a very good opportunity for us in this dimension to exchange knowledge about it so we can practice more. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I agree with Karina, what she said, but also as well that sometimes we think that parapsychism are those like big phenomena, like having a full clairvoyance or having something like big. But actually, most of our phenomena are super subtle. Like, for instance, we can go like be in a subway station and we feel that someone is watching us, and then you look back, it's someone is watching at us. Or sometimes you go on the subway and you enter the subway and all of a sudden you start feeling down, start feeling depressed, you start feeling like, and then if you're not aware that this variable of the parapsychism exists, you won't be able to question, oh, why am I on this state right now? What is going on with me? Is it really me, or it's something that it's interacting with me, some energies or some other people or extra physical beings that are people they already died, so they don't have the physical body? What it's exactly going on? So I think the parapsychism is a tool for we to be able to be alert all the time what is going on with us and the environment. And I think it's a valuable tool, but I think we sometimes think about a lot only the big phenomena, but can be something like, oh, I feel something on my skin, or started with a headache. What is going on? Is it really physical? It's not. And then I think it's type of knowledge of an approach of a scientific way that we will be able to find the answers. What is really going on with us and the environments we're in.
That's very good. Yeah, that's the reason why I decided to start with this kind of approach, because when we talk about parapsychism or mediumship or things like this, people think that, this is something, special, or this is a special ability. And I rarely see, this matter connected to something so practical, so usual, so from our everyday life. For example, I once went to a museum. I always tell this story because I think it's very, very interesting, and it was remarkable for me. I went to a museum, and this museum was like coffee farm museum, and there was kind of a slavery utensils, and I had a kind of judgment when I saw that. I saw that, oh, look at this utensils for the souls for slavery and things like this. So what I mean by saying that is that the way we interact with places, right, with people, depends a lot on the level of our thozine. What is it? Thozine is a short word for thoughts, sentiment, and energy, right? In conscientiology, we study thozine as a unit, right? Because we don't emanate energies without thoughts and sentiments. So when we are thinking badly about someone, or when we are being antagonic with some places, our energies are in conflict, and it may interfere a lot, isn't it, Karina? It may interfere a lot in the way we interact with people, interact with places. So we should pay special attention to the way what we are thinking, what we are feeling, the kind of energies we are externalizing, right, to the environment. It's important as well.
Yeah, mainly we have lots of energy. There's a kind of energy that is not very subtle, the ectoplasm. If a person has this kind of energy and she's thinking bad of herself or other people, she can really hurt other people because of the intensity of this energy. And on the other hand, she can really help. If someone is, for instance, feeling sick or feeling very sad in a depressive way, if we send this therapeutical energy, or we can help the person get better only by sending her energy, because sometimes it's not physical. It's not something that the brain is not producing serotonin or dopamine. Sometimes it's an intruder, or the energy from the environment that is very toxic, and the person doesn't have the tools to move from this position to a one better. So we send energy, and it's like we are cleaning the environment. And how can we develop ectoplasm? Everybody can, by working and working hard. So it's a kind of, and also having this willingness to give energy to other people. Some people that work with assistants, that are trying to help other, most part of their lives, they develop this kind of energy. But it doesn't mean that everybody that is ectoplasm has this energy is very well intentioned. We have other people that work with energies that don't have very the lucidity or thinking the best for all. They're thinking like, what's better for me? How can I bring someone back to my life? How can I use this energy to hurt someone, to get this job for myself, for my family, and not if they are in a competitive way. So it's another important thing to be aware of our false scenes, because it's very interesting tool for self-defense. How can I defend myself from energetic attacks? With my false scenes, if I have a very good pattern of false scenes, so the other kinds of different patterns will not reach me, because I have my self-defense just by this pattern that I am exteriorizing. I don't know how to say. When I exteriorizing this pattern of energy. Thank you.
Definitely. So being antagonistic to people and places are definitely not advised, right, Juliana?
No, I don't think so. Well, because when you are actually, it's a paradox. Because when you think, oh, I'm thinking against something, it actually links you even more with that situation. So I would say that a way for you to interact is to be more impartial, and if you think that their environment is affecting you a lot, try to work with energies to create your own field, and then you feel a little bit more disconnected. Because actually, while you were talking about those scenes, I was thinking that we have a lot of places that already have like a holocene implanted there. Like, for instance, when you go to a library, you have a tendency to write or read more. It's easier. So, but if you go, for instance, for a shopping mall, you have the tendency to buy a lot. And we are affected with the energies, with those scenes that are implanted in the other places. And that's when we have to think, what can I do? So we could work with our energies and create our own field. So we won't be against, but we won't be on our environment, and feel more secure.
And that's the reason why it's important for us to pay special attention to this parapsychic development, right? Of our senses and things like that to improve this kind of reading. So let's talk now about the importance of developing, right, the parapsychism. How can people do it? You are muted.
Yeah, I think one way to do it is reading about the subject, discussing like we are doing it now. So our thoughts and our sentiments and energy are gathered with this kind of energy. So it's easier to develop some phenomena. Also to practice, we have some techniques like the vibrational states technique. I don't know if we have a video, but in our website, we have some videos regarding vibrational states. That is a technique to work with our energy and get them loosen up so we can feel our chakras and better interact with the environments. And also it's a self-defense technique as well. And if the energies are more loosened up, it's easier to read the environments, to read other people, to have out of the body experiences. So, and we have to practice, read, write about the phenomena, have an agenda, especially for this. So it's very important. But some people, they don't practice. It's like they are already born with this ability. So it's an hypothesis that we have been working with this for many, many lives. So it's not an ability that was given to us by someone, but we worked very hard in previous lives. So in this one, it's easier for us to develop or to remember that we have these abilities. For other people, maybe it's the first time they are interacting with this reality. In other lives, they didn't have access to this information, and sometimes they were oppressed because in the community, in the school, even in the family, we could not talk about this phenomena. Some people would say, oh, this is something very evil. You should not talk about it. You should pray and this will go away. So we tend to keep the phenomena to ourselves and we don't develop it. So, and now we have to have more information and de-dramatize this oppression, I would say.
I agree, and I would also say that work with the energies of nature. So you can go to a park, you can interact with the energies from a lake, from the trees. I think, at least in my experience, it's easier to perceive those energies and try to codify them. But also, I would say to have like a scientific approach. Like, for instance, I'm exteriorizing energy. What are what I perceive in my environment? What can I perceive in my energetic body? What are the events that make those situations different? What is going on with me? And write down everything, and then we will start to have a pattern. That's what we call the signalectic. For instance, we you feel like something on your ear every time you feel nervous or some situation, and you write down what is going on with me that day, what happened, and then you start to creating what is mean in myself, in my energetic body. And I think because it will be different for any of us, and we know, we talk with each other, and some people will feel this one will feel an exact sensation for things that are different. So I think it's very important to have that scientific approach.
Yes, and especially this twist of feeling that we sometimes have during the day when we are sometimes, doing something like studying, reading, watching a film, then suddenly we start feeling badly. Say, oh, watch out, what's that? So if you don't have certain patterns of energies, like if you are not angry or, feeling irritated or annoyed, and all of a sudden that you start feeling like that, so watch out. It's possibly a kind of energetic interaction. And we have some questions coming from people, right? NK asks, right? Could you please give us some hints for people that has a lot of ectoplasm to improve their parapsychic abilities and be less influenced from external energies?
Yeah. Oh, Juliana, you can.
No, it's okay.
I would say it's very important for these people to have some regular activities. For instance, it's important to leave the house to do some exercises, physical exercises. If you can, in your profession, listen to other people and help them. Because I see many ectoplasts that don't leave their houses, and they begin to be intoxicated with their thoughts and energies, and they can really get some phenomena like the lights go on without anybody in the room, and all of a sudden the glass breaks, and things like the TV stops working, things like that, because it's the energetic interference in the environment due to your you have lots of energy and you're not doing anything good with it. It's all like in your environment. So it's important to have regular activities so you can give a better use to your energies. Other thing is to be aware of your thoughts. So you should not think bad of anyone or even yourself, because it intoxicates also the environments. And have a routine of working with energy. So every day you have to do the vibrational states before you go to sleep, when you wake up. So it's better to have a healthy energetic system. So I would say you have to implement a healthy routine working with your energies.
I would also complement, because the ectoplast, their energy, it's super dense, so interacts much more with our interphysical energy or material. So one of the things that I think it's very important is to have a lot of emotional stability. So I would start working on your traumas and your weak traits. What makes you unstable emotionally? Because when ectoplast is emotional, not so stable emotionally, it will start like bursting, and that can interact more with other people. So people around you won't feel so well around you. Things might break, as Karina said, like in your own home. So I would start like dealing with your own traumas, trying to see what are the triggers that make you on that state.
Yes, and that's very important to mention and highlight here the subjectivity of of the experience, right? Because my impressions, my interpretations, my understanding of my of phenomenon, whichever it may be, it will be completely different from the other people's approach to the same phenomenon. So we must um, take special attention to pay special attention to how I react to the energies. How is my relationship with the energies? The signalings, right? How it worked with me. So it's very, very subjective. So, but it's practice. And I think that it comes with the next comment from NK. I have a big difficulty to work my energies. Could you please give me some hints about that?
I would just complement the other one from NK, the ectoplasm, because I see many doctors prescribing medication to depression and anxiety. If the person many people are ectoplasts and they don't know how to deal, and they have these external influences and their own. But if they just take a 30-minute walk, for example, like Juliana said, in the nature, it helps de-assimilate. So it's a very at the same time, it's easy, it's difficult. Just to implement a healthy routine, it improves your energetic health. So maybe for ectoplasm it should be like a medication, but instead of taking pills, you take walks, like a suggestion. And regarding this difficult to work with energy, it's the same. Go for a walk, like a 30-minute. It helps me. I use this technique. And if I take a 30-minute walk, and then when I get home, I work with my energy. I feel better, and I can feel my chakras easier than when I'm not. I didn't do any exercise, physical exercise, for example. And also, if you have the chance in the city that you're in, if you have a group studying conscienciology or doing presential activities in local activities, you should look for these groups. And when we work with the group, the perceptions are amplified because many people with the same thoughts, with the same intention, with the same full scenes, it helps create a hollow full scene it helps us to feel some phenomena as well. So maybe it's a good call for you to implement this routine.
Yeah, I will also complement only with depends on with what is the cause for this difficulty. So if, for instance, you don't focus, you have difficulty on focus, I would go for exercise that will help you focus, because sometimes, and that it happens a lot with me, you get distracted with a lot of other things going on around you, and then I will try to do some exercises to focus my attention. If it's energetic difficulty, for me, nature, it always helps. Even if I don't go outside, if I connect with a waterfall, if I connect, it really helps. So you absorb the energy and then exteriorize it, and then usually I start feeling better. And also, of course, the vibrational state. Do it like a lot of times and see how it goes with you.
Yes, and there is a very good advice is work, 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 and work, right? Because practice makes perfect. Sometimes, as Karina said, some people are more prone to feel it, easily because it comes from all the life or it's a special inherent ability. But sometimes we have to develop new abilities in this life. But for you to start from scratch, any kind of development, you have to work, work, work. Sometimes in the beginning, you won't feel anything, but with the continuation of this work, definitely you may start feeling differences from one sterilization, or not sterilization, mobilization actually, right? We're talking about mobilizations of energies in triggering the vibrational states. In the beginning may be like, oh, I can't feel that, but just continue and work, work, work. It's that's all we have to do, is to work with energies every day. We have one more question from Douglas Pena. How may we approach the parapsychic self-experience from a more scientific perspective? It might be easier to try to look for an external validation, in particular for someone that is starting.
So yeah, unfortunately, we don't have any machines to measure all the phenomena that we have. So I think the tool we have, it's ourselves, but I think it's the organization and the always trying to criticize everything that you perceive. And I think it's a difficult balance sometimes, because we have the tendency as humans or to believe in everything that happens to us, or every time being super skeptic of everything. And it's a balance. So you have, like, for instance, you start doing like a vibrational state, and then you perceive a little bit of a vibration, your field of energy, and then you write down everything. The next day, you don't feel as much. I didn't perceive it. What happened on that day? What was going on that right moment? So it's always thinking, what is happening, what are the variables that can interact with me and on this parapsychic phenomena. Or for instance, you are in a dynamic, uh, and you perceive an extra physical consciousness, but nobody else perceives it. But then you write it down, and then you try to validate if that was what really happened or not. But what I think it's important is, when you have the phenomena, you just fully experience it. You try to gather as much information as you can, and after having the phenomena, then you try to question everything and validate it with other people if you can. But I think the most important is for yourself.
Karina would like to.
Yes, since he's asking about a scientific perspective, for instance, when we have some feelings, we may have difficult to elaborate and understand what's going on. So we will read some articles, maybe talk to someone that has an experience similar, and even now we have like the science, the psychology. So we will talk to a psychologist or people that are going through therapy, and it's enlightenment in so many ways, so many books written about it, so many scientists researching. We are doing the same in conscienciology, so we should maybe read some books about it. It helped me a lot when I was starting, and I had this parapsychic signaling, and I didn't know if it was normal. I sometimes saw my soul out of my body, and I was like, what's going on? It's the first time I'm having this sensation, and am I going to die? And I was thinking in my head, somebody help me, I want to get back to my body. And I went to one class here in Rio de Janeiro, and there was this teacher, and he said, it's very normal. It's like, it's your physiology. So we call it paraphysiology. Everybody has that phenomena, but most of the people are not lucid to it. And you were lucid, you could feel it. And then I relaxed. I said, okay, now I'm fine. The next time I know what this means. And some people are writing books and articles about it. So this is our validation. We feel the phenomena, we have the experience, and we go to research other people that had been through a similar experience. It's the kind of external validation in some way when we talk to other people about it, because many people are going through the same stuff. But I'm not going for a guru or a medium, like, please, and can you read my future? What should I do in this occasion? Is my energy good enough? No, you have to do it for yourself. Or please, can you send energy to my house because I cannot sleep at night? I think the best way is you talk to someone, I'm having trouble sleeping. And then you can figure out for yourself, why? Is there any suspect object in your house? We call energetic rubbishness that is making a very bad evocations. I forgot when you...
Yes,
Evocation.
Yeah. So it's preventing you from sleeping. And so it's good to talk to other people and have other experience. Maybe it will enlighten you as well.
and to start to ask questions. But I was doing a course last week, and the teacher said something that is very important. And it has to do with this question from Douglas Pena. And I have to say, Douglas Pena, thank you for your participation today. It's a very good question. But we have to be very critical. We have to really do something, which is study, study, and study, right? This is what we have to do. And the teacher said, like, study and assist. Study and assist. Now, let's talk about something for me it's very important, because we are in an institution, a CP, right, that is focused on the interessential parapsychism, right? For example, I am clairvoyant, not clairaudient, not clairvoyant, clairaudient. But yeah, I can hear, but and then what's going to happen, and what I'm doing with that, what I'm doing with my parapsychic ability. So in our daily interaction, right, let's focus now on talking about it. In our daily interaction, right, how can we use our parapsychic abilities to help the other, to assist the other, right? Because this is the most important. That's the bottom line of what we do, because we have to study to know more, to understand us better and better. But we have to address this study, right? We have to focus on the other, on the assistance. So let's talk about the interassistential parapsychism, shall we?
Yeah. Well, I think that you can do that interassistance like every day. It's not like, for instance, you go on the subway and then you see someone that is a little bit down. When you start developing your own parapsychism, you will have more information. So if you want to help someone, you can start developing and assisting more. Depends, of course, what the person needs, but it happens with me a lot. Like on the subway, you see someone that is a bit down, and you can exercise energy and see what happens. And then sometimes the person will start feeling better. Or if you don't, you see, oh, it's not the best way to exercise energy, to talk to the person. Like sometimes it's only to talk with someone, but the parapsychic ability will help you to have that information. This person needs something. So what is the best approach to help this person? Sometimes it will be with energy, sometimes will be with a conversation, sometimes can be even a little bit with both, most of the times. But yeah, I think the parapsychism will help you have more information to be able to help the other person, and that can happen like on the everyday basis.
Yeah, I totally agree with what Juliana said. And also, sometimes we don't even have to say anything, just our presence there. When we work with our energies, and we are more balanced because we are doing our self-research, so we are improving ourselves. So with our energetic presence, we can also be very therapeutical beings. So, but only how can we get there? Through parapsychism, when we have like the intuitions, and we know, wow, I didn't go well yesterday, I should improve my thoughts. Because when I felt sorry for someone, or I was very, very angry at someone, and all this energy just came back at me. When we are parapsychic, it's like very instant. I think something bad about someone, at the same moment it comes to my head, and I have the energetic burden that is not very good. So it's like an important tool also to improve our thoughts. The more parapsychic we are, the more aware we are of our energies as well. And this way I'm improving myself, and I'm improving my environment, I'm improving my energies, and my presence is more helpful than it was before. So, yeah.
That's that. And I come back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago about, dealing with people and places. Um Sometimes we can have these readings, right? Just looking at the person. And as we are talking about signaling, right? Energetic signaling. Sometimes we are talking to someone and we may feel something, right? Like, goosebumps or things like that. And it gives us some kind of pleasure. Sometimes we feel a bit annoyed about it. And these kind of interactions are telling a lot about how we react to the energies and things. And and sometimes when we are dealing with someone, we may just pay attention to one word that is said, one the way that people express their feelings and so on, and sometimes can be provocative, or someone can just tease us, and then we have to be aware of this because there is a lot involved in terms of intuition, insight as well, and sometimes we don't notice that. And when we don't notice that, so we may not be so assistential with a person because we just accept this provocation, we just accept these bad energies, and we cannot say that no, I don't want it to myself. Sometimes it's very subtle, even for example, when we are in a classroom giving a lesson to students, and one student may have a different kind of behavior, and if we're not aware, or if we don't consider the parapsychism involved in our relationships, in this interaction, we may sometimes have problems with people because we just accept that energy. Do you feel that? Do you feel sometimes the way that the things are subtle, or a word that is said that gets to you? You are not expecting that. So it gets to you and say, you feel bad about it. But sometimes we have just to like shoot it. How is it, in our everyday life? How can we enhance these perceptions of what is said to us, the way things are said to us, the relationship that we have with people, with this, the way we change, we exchange actually energies.
Yeah, I think on that situation, I would say that we have to be aware of our own traits and our own triggers and the things that's why we in conscienciology we talk about a lot of interconscienciality of existential recycling. So we try to know ourselves the most. I mean, try to understand why we react the way we react, and sometimes we'll have surprises. Of course, we are still learning. But if that happens, I don't know, you were like giving the example of someone interacts with you and then all of a sudden that information, that word or that specific situation like gives you a trigger and you feel
Yeah.
bad. So what I would say, it's like, of course, at the moment you have to deal with it, like try to work with energies and try to uh, deal with it in the best way. But afterwards what I will do is like try to see what happened that is connected with myself, because of course in we are talking about assistance and the parapsychic assistance, and the more we develop this, the more we will perceive of the others. And if we are not well with our own situations, our own traumas, the things that we have to improve, this at some point some things will clash with us. That's why we have always to work on, even if we didn't for instance, imagine that I have like the trait of being too angry sometimes, or having like a lot of emotions. It doesn't mean that I will have to be completely calm every time, but at least I'm aware what are the triggers, and when that happens I will have more tools to deal with it, and then my assistance will be much better because I won't be intruded. I won't be completely out of touch with my energies and unbalanced. So I would say that that it's life. We interact all the time with a lot of people, and the things that trigger us, I think it's an opportunity for us to know more about ourselves and to improve our capabilities to assist the others.
Very
Yeah,
good.
and I also think sometimes it's a personal attack, and when we have our parapsychic abilities more, we are more aware of it, so we can identify this person is not trying to help me; she's attacking me. Because sometimes we use this clarification task uh, as an excuse, and the energy is not smooth. And sometimes when we have the same feedback from another person, we understand it. It comes well. It's the same information, but with a different pattern of energy because of the intention. Sometimes because the people that's trying to help us is really trying to help, and sometimes the people is like the person is projecting something. Maybe she has the same difficulty and she's not clean or not okay with it. So it comes with, and it's a trigger, yes, but sometimes the same information does not trigger us because it's important to read that something is off in the energy and like something's not right. And sometimes we don't know what it is and we have to research more. And sometimes it's intuition, sometimes it's a energetic reading that we are not full aware of the contents of this reading. We just know something is off. We don't know yet what is off. And sometimes we are only going to figure it out months later, maybe years later, but it comes back. And we have all the puzzle is all the pieces of the puzzle to understand and make a better reading of the situations. So that I think that's why it's very important to trust our parapsychic abilities.
That's why we have to write down everything. Otherwise, like in a few years or months later, we won't remember. So that's that thing about writing down everything and then analyze it. I think, yeah, it's super important.
Yes.
Very good. And if you have any questions concerning this, what we are talking about, for example, your perceptions, your energetic perceptions, or when you go to places or when you are interacting with people. So just let us know. Put your comments here in the comment section that we'd like to hear your perspective and your opinion. Right? Now, let me tell you something. In September 25th, we will start a new edition of our course, our entry course, which is Basis of Parapsychic Development, right? The course has 12 live online lessons. That one more class is beginning on September 25th, right? We'll be talking about parapsychism development, right? We're talking about whole soma, the set of vehicles we have, the physical body, the energetic bodies. We are talking about bioenergies and what we're talking about now, paraperceptuology, lucid projections, and lots of other topics concerning the parapsychism, right? This is our entry course, basis of parapsychic development, right? For registration, please visit our website, acp.org/loja. About it, you can write us an email, eventus@acp.org. Very good. And we have another question coming up. Yes, from Douglas Pena. In a therapeutic setting, we learn that the main focus should be on our perception of the reality instead of identifying motive in others. How many parapsychism help to improve your self-perception, our self-perception?
Like our self-perception. Okay, so I would say that the more we have experiences, parapsychic experience, we'll have more information about ourselves as well. You can have like out-of-body experiences, you can have retrocognitions, that you'll start having more information about yourself. But also, it's not only on those type of phenomena, but also learning about yourself, like in energetic basis. How do I deal with this type of energies? How do I deal with this type of information? But actually, one time in one of the events that we have, like practical events, I remember there was one exercise that it was someone that had to exteriorize, like a feeling. It could be sadness, happiness, or I think it was only those two. And I remember that the person exteriorized to me happiness, but what I perceived, it was something completely different. I was perceiving like, oh, a little bit of nervousness. And then the person told me that he was focusing on a happy child memory when he was in a swing. But actually, when I was a child, I fell off a swing. So actually, even if the person was trying to send something connected to that memory, but for myself, it wasn't a good thing. So I wouldn't perceive it in that way. That's why it's so subjective. That's why you can learn so much more about yourself, because it doesn't matter what the other person is giving you, but how you perceive it and what are your own variables and what's going on with you. So that's why parapsychism can help you a lot on knowing more about yourself.
We can also have some
Kanin got frozen.
Yes.
action,
Yes.
some out of the body experience.
Now
I
you're
think I
back.
froze. Sorry.
Now
Yeah,
you're back.
yeah. Sometimes I have some experiences. It's parapsychodrama. It's like you're watching yourself behaving in a manner that you can be more aware of how you interact with people and how you have a strong trait, for example, that you were not aware. For instance, a person is very shy in this dimension. There's maybe some kind of trauma. Sometimes it's fear, and when you go out of the body, you are giving lectures, you're talking to everybody, so you have this ability. So it improves your self-perceptions. Why am I not using it in the intraphysical dimension? What is blocking me? Or sometimes it's the opposite. So you have a very large ego, you're a vanity, and you're not, so everybody can see it but yourself, because you don't realize. Sometimes it really happens. Everybody can see our weak traits and even strong traits, and we are blind sometimes. And we go out of the body and we see like this drama when you are the queen of everybody, and you want everybody to cheer you up and give you things like, oh, my ego is huge, I need applause. And when you go back to your body, it's like, oh, I'm so ashamed of my traits. So it's the parapsychism improving our self-perceptions. Sometimes you don't even have to go to a therapeutic session to realize that about us. We have this didactic experience showing us how we really are.
Yes, and self-research and self-experimentations together, they are one of the pillars of the consciential paradigm. So the most important thing is the way we study ourselves and see how we react to it. I think parapsychism is a very, very important information that makes us being aware of the reality, right? The extraphysical reality together with the intraphysical reality. Um, Unfortunately, not everyone is aware of it, of course, but it's the moment of each person has to differentiate a lot. But um, I'd like to highlight, we're close to finish our conversation today. I'd like to finish this conversation by mentioning something that's very important, which is parapsychic confidence, right? So when we are studying, when we are knowing more about us, then we are acquiring informations about our interconscientiality, and and the way I relate to intraphysical consciousnesses and extraphysical consciousnesses, and I build up this kind of knowledge that helps a lot. And Juliana, uh, how is your impression? How is your opinion about it? Because for me, I have to go through experience, but I also had, as Karina said, I also need to study about it, right? For example, I have lots of books here, and I'm reading and studying more about it, and and it leads us to this confidence, isn't it?
Yes. And I think that's, I mean, for you to be able to have confidence, you have to have experience and knowledge. Otherwise, it's very, you won't be confident. But also, I would also to highlight, because of course you have to be confident, but you can't be in a state of overconfidence that you don't question the phenomena or the informations that you getting through. Because I think that's why sometimes we have a lot of fields of knowledge going to a mysticism way, because you don't question the experiences you're having. So sometimes you have your own biases, and you perceive some things, but then you have to question, and that actually will give you even more confidence to more other experiences that you can have. So I think it's experience, knowledge, self-criticism, and then you will fly away with all your own experiences.
I would say also it's very important to learn to make decisions, because sometimes we want to depend on other people to do that for us. So it doesn't help us with our confidence and with our parapsychic confidence. And we will make mistakes, it's part of the learning process. But to trust our gut, it's very important, our intuition, our parapsychic abilities. It will help enhance our parapsychic confidence.
Very good. Yes, it's a matter of experience. There's no way out, right? People, we are approaching to the end of our conversation today. We have 1 minute to finish our Let's Talk, right? Saying that next month we'll be talking about the internationalization of conscientiology. It's a very important topic, right? And I invite you to come to Let's Talk next month as well. Right, so let's go for our final considerations. Juliana Branco, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. You were great. I think that it was very nice to have you here, Juliana.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. It was really, really nice.
Karina.
Oh, thanks, Mario, for having me. It was very nice. It was very good to be able to participate in this talk, especially with Juliana. She is my dear friend and colleague from ACP Portugal. And I'm very happy that we had like 2 people from ACP Portugal here today. Very nice.
Very good. And I see Portugal has been doing a great job in Europe with courses and, just spreading out conscientiology from a Portuguese perspective, which is a fantastic initiative and endeavor. Yes, let's continue with that. I see you next month with the Let's Talk, talking about the internationalization of conscientiology. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you very much for your questions. We have to say bye-bye now, but we're back next month.